What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Physical Media Friday haul. And today I have another haul from oldies.com. This was a sale, and these are all Synapse titles. You got to check out oldies.com. I mean, they've got everything. Synapse, Blue Underground, Arrow, occasionally, sometimes discounted down quite a bit. They have sales somewhat frequently, so you have to check them out. And this is kind of a mixed collection here. I've got some DVDs, some Blu-rays, some Hammer, and we're going to start with a Western, and it is a Sergio Garone film. I know you were saying Sergio Carbucci, Sergio Solima, Sergio Leone. No, a Sergio Garone film, Django the Bastard. I wonder if the song goes, Django the Bastard. Probably not. A classic spaghetti Western remastered for the first time ever in high definition. So this is not, first of all, it doesn't star Franco Nero. It stars Anthony Stefan. This is not an official sequel to Django. There's only one of those, which came after this even. Django just became like a catch-all term, you know. But this looks interesting. He's got a cross with your name on it. The back hints at some supernatural elements and says it has similarities to Clint Eastwood's High Plains Drifter, which was released 4 years after this. Also titled The Stranger's Gundown. Okay, so interested to dive into that. And each one of these has a Synapse film catalog. At the back, they have a whole bunch of impulse pictures. I cannot show you any of those movie posters, but it's just interesting to see the different years. So there we got 2025. That looks like Trick or Treat, the heavy metal one with Ozzy and Gene Simmons. Let's do the rest of the Blu-rays, then we'll do the DVDs. Actually, let's we got Hammer time for the rest of the Blu-rays. If you were able to take a look at my Hammer collection over there, you'd probably be able to pick out some of these in terms of Hammer films that I don't have as the list gets smaller and smaller. I have seen all three of these. They're all very solid. First is a vampire film that sometimes gets swept under the rug, I think, even for Hammer fans. Vampire Circus. Directed by Robert Young, starring Lawrence Payne, Thorley Walters, Hammer regular, Adrienne Corey. Okay? And vampires in a circus. They even blood-curdling bonus features include, and the font that they have there is like circus font. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. The making of documentary and different Hammer documentaries. A lot of times on these Hammer releases, you know, there have been Hammer documentaries narrated by Oliver Reed. They'll just put like one of those parts on the release. Motion picture comic book. So I guess that's on the screen. And then we have a Synapse Films 2023 product catalog. And we have the DVD and the Blu-ray. Oh, by the way, all three of these have both. They're both combo packs. So that's pretty cool. And then we have, it's not alternate cover art. Whoa, there's a circus performer. Tiger Lady. I think her name might be Tigra. I've only seen this once, so I am eager to rewatch it, for sure. Next is my second favorite of the Karnstein Vampire trilogy, all three of which feature very attractive ladies. This one is Twins of Evil, starring the Collinson twins, Mary and Madeline. They were both in Playboy in the centerfold. And Twins of Evil, well, one of them might be a little more evil than the others, but I'll let you see the film. There you go, DVD. And I don't think they had any acting experience before they made this film, but they acquit themselves quite well in this film. And Peter Cushing stars in this. Fantastic special features. This is really good. Damian Thomas is in this. Yeah, very good. Also stars David Warbeck, who was in Fulci's to Beyond, and Dennis Price. Great cover art there. Let's see what we have. Do we have reversible? So no reversible cover art, but they do have sort of some pictures on the inside. Yeah, this is a good one. This is good. Vampire Lovers is my favorite with the late, great Ingrid Pitt. I mean, it's hard to top that one. But this one is also very good. Next, this is an interesting one. You know, back when I was really getting into Hammer and deep diving into the films that I had never seen before, a lot of times I would watch the film and then go over to Sean Urshan's channel because he's such a huge Hammer fan and watch his review. And then one day I found this one and I looked at his channel and I was like, oh, Sean doesn't have a review of this. How about that? I watched the film and it was funny. Like a couple days later, he dropped a review of this, Hands of the Ripper. A great song by the band Bloody Hammers, by the way, called Hands of the Ripper. Check it out. But great title. This is about somebody. This has to do with Jack the Ripper, and it's kind of mean and bloody. This is a kind of a mean one. Who do we have? Eric Porter in this, and Angarad Reese is young Anna, who was rescued from a fake psychic who wants to force her into prostitution, and Dr. John Pritchard, played by Eric Porter, suspects she is a murderer, but cannot understand how she could do this unspeakable act. Using new Freudian psychoanalysis techniques, Richard experiments on Anna, and I won't go into any more detail, but some people, you know, get stabbed. It's pretty good. Here's the alternate title. Well, can I show you that? I better not, actually. Well, yikes. Wow. Okay, now we have another cult film, or not another cult film, but this is kind of a cult film called Lamora, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural. I'll leave that. Okay, next we got a real classic here. A Terrifying Tale of Sluts and Bolts. So not nuts and bolts, sluts and bolts. And Bill Murray said, if you only see one movie this year, it should be Frankenhooker. Best of 90, says Joe Bob Briggs. Yeah, Frank Henlotter's immortal classic, Frankenhooker. DVD. So looking forward to watching that again. I've seen that once or twice. And next up is my favorite Dario Argento film as it sits right now. I have to rewatch a bunch of them, including Deep Red again, but I've always preferred this one, Tenebrae by Dario Argento, starring John Saxon, Anthony Franciosa, Daria Nicolodi. Yeah, just really like this one a lot. And different Synapse catalog cover. And there you have a high heel being shoved into someone's mouth. I remember reading about that scene in Fangoria back in the day, and I was like, who's this Argento guy? I don't think these movies typically were playing around me, and it was just like some kind of a mystery. And they were talking about the Goblin soundtrack. I was like, that sounds pretty cool, but how do I watch these films? Well, eventually I finally got to see them, and my Argento collection is slowly but surely coming together. I was going to do one more, but I have something that goes with that, so I'll save that for another time. So what do you think? We got Frankenhooker and Tenebrae, 3 Hammer films, and Django the Bastard. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Come back again for another Physical Media Friday. Thanks.